Well, you recently saw someone who I would say qualifies as a legend of sorts. Maybe off the radar legend would be Sarah McLachlan, and she was at Starlight. Is that correct? On June 9th. I know you saw that show, and she's somebody who people can be evangelical about in their enjoyment of what she produces.
And there was wasn't sold out, but Starlight holds about 8,000. I'm guessing there were more than 7,000 people there, probably maybe 7,200. Really, really good sized crowd. People who were there, most of them were just devoted. She was kind of their Taylor Swift. There's a certain generation of women in their mid 30s, late 30s, 40s who she was the one who wrote songs that really connected with them emotionally. Songs about romance and breakup and heartache and just being a woman in the world. And then the Lilith Fair, of course, just inflated her stature and her legend, because that was a moment in music that we haven't really appreciated it for what it was. It was a major, major moment. It brought women into the light, the spotlight sooner than it would have, and she inspired a lot of women artists. And just listening to people sing along to her, like the people, the 4 or 5 women in front of us, every word, every song, it just reminded me that she was really huge. And I saw her a few times. I love her voice. I like a lot of her songs. Her voice was amazing for someone who was battling a little bit of laryngitis and some throat issues, because in Red Rocks 2 nights before, it was really windy and she got dust in her, throat. So you could see her a couple of times in between lyrics, lines in a song, turning to cough. She was drinking tea, it looked like. So she fought through it, and then in one of the songs in Fumbling Towards Ecstasy, the record she did in its entirety, it requires her. It's almost operatic, her voice. And my wife, like yours, studied voice. She was a voice minor in college, and she's a really good singer. And so she can be pretty picky about, it was a little pitchy, but that night she was, that was incredible that she did it that late in the show, and with a voice that was, kind of alien. It was kind of mind blowing. So I just left thoroughly impressed. She's been off the road for a long time, but hasn't really missed a beat.
Well, being on the road and the challenges of that, and big shows and acts that maybe don't quite fill an arena or shouldn't fill an arena, is part of the final tale we'll tell today. The Black Keys have fired their management, which was Irv Azoff, who's a legendary manager of rock groups through the years, from the Rolling Stones and many, many other familiar names. And they've decided to go in a different direction with their management. This isn't unusual. It's a time of really interesting big shows. Justin Timberlake's show isn't doing particularly well, and of course he got busted for DUI while in New York, so that doesn't help at all. Jennifer Lopez has had some challenges with a big tour. If you're going to go big, you better bring the goods. Taylor Swift is proving that that is the case when you do it, but maybe if you don't, it turns into a different kind of challenge.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're her or Beyonce, there are others who can do it. Probably some in country music who can still do the stadium. I think Kenny Chesney's back in the stadiums this summer. But I'm not surprised that the Black Keys tour wasn't doing well in arenas. I saw them in an arena at Sprint Center, what was the Sprint Center. And I just thought going in, how are they going to carry this big house? And they didn't. They're not especially dynamic live band. So there's not a lot coming off the stage. They had some backup musicians who were just kind of shrouded in shadow. So it was just kind of static for me. And because they were so remote and far away, it didn't help. And I've seen them in smaller places, including Grinders. The first time I saw them, they were at a place in Austin for the music festival, and it held like 1,200 people. This was just as they were starting to come out, so it was a buzz about them. And that was the best show I've seen them. They were still relatively new. They had 2 records out, I think, but since then they've tinkered with their music. I don't think they just haven't really translated well live for me. So moving to the bigger venue seemed to be a mistake. They're blaming the management that they apparently fired, although I think it's kind of like, you can't fire me, I quit.
Right.
It's one of those situations, so who knows? But yeah, we'll see what happens there. They're going to rebook it in other venues, and same with Timberlake. That it's just the show's not killing it like they thought it would, because his record didn't do that. Jennifer Lopez has something going on personally, again, like another in one of her many marital trauma dramas, so that's probably not helping her. She renamed the tour to let people know, hey, it's going to be a greatest hits tour, and that didn't really move the needle, so she just canceled it. So yeah, I just think I've read 2 articles on this. This is my last point, but it's really interesting. What they're saying is that the promoters and the venues and everyone is saying what's really hurting them is that you can see seating charts now. When you go to buy tickets online,
yes,
you can see how empty it is. You can see how only 30% of the tickets are sold, and people are either going, I'm not going to go to a show that's not going to be half full, or only going to be half full, and I'm just going to wait until the week or day of show, because there looks like there are going to be a lot of tickets left. So that whole, information, too much information is hurting us. It's kind of funny, but that's another reason that they're using. I don't know. It's probably something there, but I don't think that's it entirely.
Very, very interesting. And the final stop on Justin Timberlake's tour is here in Kansas City in December, I believe it is. So we'll see if that even happens. Tim, it always happens with you every couple of weeks or so. We always appreciate the time and look forward to 2 weeks hence.
Okay, sounds good, Danny.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Joe Spiker and his team are the best in the business for all your roofing needs, handled with honesty and craftsmanship. Visit them at eastonroofing.com.